do you see from Presbyterian?
Well, you know, the one thing is they really did a good job last year against us. We were down at halftime, and we had to have a really good second half. You know, a couple explosive scoring guards that proven themselves that's you know in their program. The other thing is we'll see a lot of zone, and I think that's one area that you're always concerned with in the beginning of the year. Are you prepared to face zone? We don't play a lot of zone, so just the comfort level of being able to attack it and understanding what you want to do against it to be successful offensively will be a big key for us on Friday night.
I guess with that zone, you want to really get on the offensive boards too.
Yeah, it's always, you know, you like to make the first shot so you wouldn't have to offensive rebound, but that's something that we've always stressed. Whenever you see a zone, you want to rebound well against it. But they do a good job. You know, it's kind of unique. You don't see it the way they play it. You don't see that very often. It's not a traditional zone. So, you know, we have to do a good job. And a lot of times, your zone offense looks a lot better when you're knocking down shots, because you're going to have to make some jump shots against us. And we just have to get comfortable in where those shots are coming from.
Move the ball well, too.
Yeah, you know, our offense is always better once we are able to reverse the ball and break the defense down. And that goes to your point earlier. You know, one of the things we always talk about is a defense that's broken down doesn't block out. And so if you can get the zone skewed and attack some gaps and get the ball under, behind, or below the zone, then you have better opportunities to rebound as well.
First impression of Travis and Quentin?
Well, you know, one led us in assists, one led us in rebounds. You know, I thought Travis had a pretty good command of the court. For only having 2 days of practice in the last 16 days, I thought he performed pretty well. You know, I think his rhythm's off, still a little bit offensively and defensively. But I thought he played well. There's some, you know, when you miss that much time as a freshman, I always say every practice you miss as a freshman counts as 2. You know, and so he's 28 days behind instead of just 14, and so you know he's got some catching up to do. But he competed, and I thought he did a good job, made some good decisions. You know, Quentin, I've been impressed with in practice because he's just a guy that really understands things, picks things up quickly, and is constantly trying to do what we're teaching out there. I always liked his activity level. I didn't know how that would show itself in a game, how that would transfer itself into a live competition. And you know, obviously we're going to play better teams than we face, but that team played hard, had some good length, and for him to get 16 rebounds, I mean, we haven't had anybody get 16 rebounds in 3 years, no matter who we played. So that was a good sign. Plus the shots that he missed, I think he's going to make. You know, he's proven night and day in and day out in practice that he can make those. The one thing you give him credit for, he's not scared, because you know he caught the ball. If he was open, he was shooting it, and that's you know, I like that about him. I like his confidence. But I like those guys' daily approach, and you can see where as they progress and get a feel for this level, that they're going to just keep getting better and better.
Have he been showing you in practice, Quentin, that he's kind of a sneaky rebounder?
Yeah, oh yeah, because you know what he does. He competes on every single play, and he's got great length, so he keeps a lot of balls alive. And you got to remember now, you know, we play him at both spots. We play him as a wing and as that stretch forward spot as well. So when he's at that stretch forward, he's guarding Robert, Daniel Miller, Cam. So he's going against some pretty good size every day. And then when he's at the other spot, it's Marcus and Stacy. So you know, you're talking about you know, two completely different ends of the spectrum in terms of who he's defending, who he's rebounding against. But he's shown a lot of that already in practice.
Even though he's a freshman, it seems like Travis has some of those leadership qualities that you're going to be looking for down the road.
Yeah, and you know, all freshmen.
Yeah.
He quiet leaders at the point guard, you have to kind of erase that first part, you know, to be really good. And he's going to have to improve in that. I think he understands that. I always say the process and the progression of a leader, you have to be comfortable in what you're supposed to be doing before you start telling other people what to do. and that takes some time. And then because of the injury, I think it's been that growth was stunted a little bit, and so now we need to accelerate that.
Coach, can you talk about the difference, the growth of Marcus and Robert this time a year ago to now, and whether or not you think the trip out to Colorado Springs this summer benefited them substantially?
Well, I think that they're completely different players in terms of just that experience that they've gained, not only playing as many minutes as they did as freshmen, but then going out there this summer and competing at that level and understanding that. And as I always talked about, maybe humbling them a little bit by not making the team, but those guys got over that quickly, and that the humbling experience turned into something that made them hungrier. And so they've been very coachable. They've worked extremely hard. They just play with a greater poise about them. They went through a lot of different situations last year, called on to make game-winning shots, called on to get game-winning rebounds, different things like that, and I think all that's going to pay off as we continue to move forward.
You mentioned something a while back, I can't remember when we were talking about the importance of Marcus really being an effective offensive rebounder, and you said that he's already good at it. Is it any more important that he hit the offensive glass this year than it was last year because of the way you're taking your offensive scheme or anything?
Well, I think it is, because one of our huge points of emphasis is we need to get some more easy baskets. For us to become more efficient on offense, you have to get some easy baskets. So you have to get just one or two more transition points a game, one or two more offensive rebounds. Now the thing is, we chart the offensive rebounds. We don't chart how many guys get. We chart how often they go and give those guys a percentage. And as a wing, Marcus's job, he's got to be over 80%. That means 8 out of every 10 shots that's taken, he's got to be going to the glass. If he does that, he'll get 1 or 2 more a game. And when you say 1 more rebound a game, well, that's 2 more points. And if Robert gets 1 or 2 more a game, that's another 2 points. Now all of a sudden you got 6 or 8 more points, and your record is completely different because of that. And you're not doing anything different. You're just emphasizing a key aspect of what we want to be known for and what our identity is supposed to be built on in terms of being relentless on the glass.
Do you remember what Marcus's rate was last year?
Well, we go game by game, but he was probably in the 60s,
Okay.
primarily. And again, that's part of the growth, because you're asking a freshman to do so much. He was a key part of our offense. In the last 20 games, in key situations offensively, where you needed a basket, who did we go to? We went to him. So, now as he becomes comfortable in that role, now you try to find other areas for his game to expand, and I think the offensive glass is one of them. At times, though, he was really good. The consistency wasn't there.
Speaking again about Marcus, you talked about looking for more ball handlers when you're pushing the ball. We saw an example of that the other night when he, I believe, got the rebound through that cross-court bounce pass for
Right.
an easy hoop. So that's.
Well, that's what that was an exact type of play that to kind of hit both the questions. That was our defense created a difficult shot. He had a long rebound, so instead of waiting back for the point guard, he took 2 explosive dribbles, and we had another guy running, and he found him. Those are the type of baskets and plays. If you can get 5 or 6 of those more a game, you take a big step as a team. And that was a good play by Marcus. He made a good decision on that play.